Ruslan.
Tattoos. You did talk on tattoos where you basically said they're not technically a sin. However, you wouldn't get them from a missionary standpoint. Is that a fair categorization of your position on tattoos?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So I wouldn't put that on other people. If you're a missionary, you can have a tattoo. That's not what I'm saying.
You're saying you don't want it to be a stumbling block for someone that may find them offensive.
Yeah. That's pretty much it. So tattoos to me are more of a cultural issue, and depending on what culture you're reaching out to, you may or may not want to have one so that you don't cause a hindrance there. So like if I was reaching out to, one guy I talked about is, I know a guy who wants to be a Jewish missionary, a missionary to the Jews. He has Jewish background, but he wasn't really raised as a traditional Jew at all. It's just genetically there in his family. And he tells me he'd love to get a tattoo, but one day he thinks he'll be in Israel doing missions work. And he thinks for the more religious Jews, it's going to be really hard to witness to them. So he won't get the tattoo because of that. And for me, especially making this decision 20 years ago, I'm thinking, 20 years goes by, there's generations are changing and shifting even right now. And so I want to be able to minister to older people who grew up with a certain connotation on tattoos, right? They would see a woman with a tattoo and they think she's sexually immoral. People don't necessarily have that view. At least the younger people don't. Yeah. The older people, there's still some of that's there. And I just want to be like, why would I want to make a barrier in my sharing with you?
Yeah.
So if I did get a tattoo, I'd at least make it easy to hide and then not talk about it.
So there's a chance Mike Winger might get a tattoo. Do we just get that exclusive here?
No.
Yeah, I have a handful of tattoos. They all came after I became a Christian. And I think
I can't talk to you anymore.
I think what you're saying totally makes sense. I think for me, I tend to wear hoodies on here so folks don't always see them. The folks that do see them don't have a problem with them, and the folks that do have a problem with them, I think I'd rather just be like, go watch Pastor Mike Winger. He doesn't have any tats send him your way because I don't have the patience for that. Yeah, that approach.
Well, Paul the Apostle, he was like, I'll become all things to all people, right?
Yeah.
But there's also the weird thing about online is that like all people are watching you, so you sort of feel like, do I have to become all things to all people all the time? When Paul was with the Gentiles, he's eating their food, he's spending time with them, he's doing things the Jews would consider unclean. He knows it's fine because he's in Christ, and in Christ all things are clean. When he goes to the Jews, he's doing an offering in the temple, he's wearing the right clothes, he's eating the right food. But in mixed crowds, when he's got the Jews and the Gentiles together, he doesn't move towards the legalism of the Jews. He actually moves towards the Gentiles. Okay. Because this is really interesting. Yeah. While he wants to build bridges between all people, if people are going to act like those secondary issues are gospel, he's going to violate them to demonstrate that the gospel accepts all people. So there's a value in having Christians with tattoos to let people know there may be a wisdom issue why Mike isn't using a tattoo, but there may also be a beautiful thing with Ruslan having them to let people know this is not a gospel thing, guys.
You just co-signed my tattoos. I just want to make sure we're clear on that.
I'm gonna sponsor your next one.
What I love about what you said is that he doesn't move to the legalistic side. He kind of intentionally kind of almost pokes at it in a way. So that's really interesting. So, okay, in wisdom issues versus legal, like right or wrong, like wisdom versus non-wisdom issues, right? Right now, I think a lot of why the church is divided is on these secondary issues, right? We don't have the ability to say, hey, A, B, and C, we agree on these secondary tongues, tattoos, whatever we don't agree on. And so we remain divided over these things. All along, the world and the things that are being pushed from the world aren't divided. They're fairly unified, right? And so I made this point, and I'd actually love to hear your thoughts on it. Lil Nas X, the Satan shoe, not sure if you've been keeping up. It's everywhere. Everybody's talking about it. I think the church got played on it and totally bought the bait and was outraged.
Those are the headlines I see, and I just go, I don't even want to know.
Yeah. So check this out. So in this, there's this moment. He's going viral. It's a big deal. Masterfully played on his part in terms of just bait, and everybody's outraged. However, in the church right now, from the church, Andy Mineo and Lecrae, not sure if you know who these guys are, have a song that's going viral, the #2 trending song on IG Reels, or the #1 at one point, called Coming In Hot. Coming in Hot is a neutral song. It's not an overtly Christian song. There's some references to God towards the end of Lecrae's song. Coming in Hot, dope record, viral. It's taken on a life of its own, where it went from being like a sports anthem to being like girls and like not like sketchy looking areas coming in hot. They're being. So Kim Kardashian posts this song. Andy, in his excitement, reposts Kim Kardashian. People lose it. How could you repost Kim Kardashian? Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. And my point was, after what we saw with Lil Nas X, how unified the world is on this thing, hey, we don't have the luxury to sit here and argue and bicker about wisdom issues and escalate wisdom issues to salvation issues. So it went from not Andy's in sin, it went from Andy's in sin for reposting Kim Kardashian to Andy's not saved to Ruslan, you're not saved and you're lost for thinking it's okay to repost Kim Kardashian. Mind blown, the fact that we could be this nasty and this divisive while there's a Christian record that is viral and all over culture, all over TikTok, all over. And again, it's not a gospel worship record, but it is a record from Christians. You go look at the rest of Lecrae's discography. He has an album called Restoration, an album called All Things Work for Good. I feel like talking to a Christian audience, Mike, and this is what I need your help on. Sometimes it feels like I'm herding cats. Sometimes it feels like I'm trying to empower and lead people to follow Jesus fervently, but we keep getting sidetracked on, should he have cropped out her head or not cropped out her head? Should he have done this or should he have not done this? Does this song say Jesus 25 times or does it not say Jesus enough? Therefore, it's worldly. How do we deal with this? How do we come to some degree of unity on these secondary issues to say, hey, if we want to engage culture and we want to contextualize the gospel and contend for the faith, how can we articulate this stuff so that we're not getting tripped up over every single Ruslan has tattoos. He posted Kim Kardashian reposting his song. Mike Winger co-signed Ruslan's tattoo. Now Mike Winger's a false teacher. Like, how do we navigate this?
Yeah. Let me say this about tattoos. If there was a bunch of people out there, like if it was widely circulated in the Christian church that if you have a tattoo, you're not saved, I'd probably get one. and then show it to people as a way of pushing back against such a bad teaching. Because that's, I think, how Paul handled liberty issues. But if I can spare people the harm or the problems, this to me, it seems okay. And I don't know if I have the right answer here, Ruslan. So let me just tell you my thoughts. Okay. I don't care if he reposted Kim Kardashian recommending his content. I realize as a content creator, he's really probably just trying to increase his exposure by taking he doesn't care it's not what she stands for. It's that somebody well-known reposted your stuff. Like maybe it's even a hated figure when somebody who has a massive following, posts your content. It's an opportunity for you to get a lot more attention on your content, whether you're doing that to make money or whether you're doing that to preach the gospel of Christ, whatever your motives are. It is an opportunity, right? That I would be very happy if somebody repost my content, that's really, really well known. I mean, if Donald Trump, he don't even has a Twitter anymore, I guess, but if he had tweeted out something like "great study there" and shared my study, I'd be like, this is weird, right? Yeah. I feel a little awkward about this, but at the same time, I'm able to reach more people with the gospel now. I think that this is something that I'm happy about. Now, if I retweeted it, is that an endorsement of him? I don't think so. So like, I understand that. I wouldn't make a big deal about it. And I also think a few other things. One is that we're not really looking at the world because the world is a threat to Christianity. We're the light. That's the dark. Come on. Right? Like we're supposed to be reaching into that place. And so our involvement in the world is actually really important. It's not that we're worldly, but that we're present in the world. Yeah. We're there. Right? We're not of the world, but we're definitely in it. We're supposed to be in it. And so to be engaging with non-believers, I want to have a lot of leeway for different ways in which Christians can engage with the world, as long as they maintain their godliness, as long as they maintain the gospel of Christ. I kind of want to push that forward. And if they do it sometimes clumsily, I'd rather them clumsily be doing it, you know what I mean, and moving forward. And we can tweak and adjust and kind of learn from it. But I don't want to be so critical that the minute, like if a Christian artist crosses over, they still have the gospel in their message, but it's not in every song kind of thing. Like I don't really see this as that big of a deal personally. I'm like, well, I mean, as long as they're openly Christian, then I'm happy.
Yeah.
That they're in that place and they're doing those things, as long as they maintain their godliness. So yeah, I just can't see arguing and fighting over those issues. And my encouragement for you as a creator is you will have more people agreeing with you than you realize. You're going to get those who disagree. Comment sections are disproportionately populated by people who disagree with you. That's when you get triggered to write a comment, is when I disagree. But when you agree, you just click the little like and move on, you know?
Wow. That's a mic drop moment right there. Give Mike a sub if you aren't already sub. If you're a sub on my channel, I don't know how you're not subbed to Mike Ringer's channel. Go subscribe, show him some love. I'm so grateful for his voice. Hopefully this was encouraging, empowering. If it was, give this video a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Pastor Mike, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This was incredible. Joshua the King came down and bore it all. Yeah. Conversations front of the fireplace. All of my mistakes, how do I erase? Wanna operate at a higher pace. Birth pains causing the body to dilate. On a first name basis with the worst.